New York City is a city of smells. It's a sensory experience that hits you the moment you step onto its bustling streets. The air is thick with a mixture of aromas that tell the story of the city. There's the smell of car exhaust, a constant reminder of the city's never-ending hustle and bustle. The traffic is relentless, and the scent of gasoline and rubber is ever present. Then there's the smell of hot dogs and pretzels wafting from the numerous street vendors that line the sidewalks. These iconic snacks are a staple of the New York experience, their savory aroma mingling with the other scents of the city. And then there's the sweet smell of honey-roasted nuts. This scent is particularly strong in certain areas, drawing you in with its warm, sugary allure. It's a smell that fills the air, especially in Midtown. You know that smell. It's warm and inviting, a comforting presence amidst the chaos of the city. It's a scent that makes you feel at home, even if you're just visiting. It makes your mouth water, tempting you to stop and indulge in a quick snack. The combination of sweet and savory is irresistible, a perfect representation of the city's diverse culinary landscape. It's the smell of nuts for nuts. These carts are a New York City institution, a beloved part of the city's street food culture. Nuts for Nuts is a New York City institution. The bright yellow carts are a familiar sight, their presence a comforting constant in the ever-changing cityscape. The bright yellow carts are on street corners all over the city. No matter where you go, you're never far from a Nuts for Nuts vendor ready to serve you a delicious snack. They sell small bags of warm, crunchy nuts. These nuts are a perfect on-the-go snack, easy to carry and even easier to eat. These nuts are coated in a sweet and salty honey glaze. They are absolutely delicious, a perfect blend of flavors that keeps you coming back for more. Once you have one, you'll want more. The combination of the crunchy texture and the sweet, sticky glaze is addictive, a treat that you can't get enough of. Nuts for Nuts is more than just a snack. It's a part of the fabric of the city, a small but significant piece of what makes New York, New York. It's a part of the fabric of the city. These vendors are a fixture of the streets, their presence a reminder of the city's vibrant street food culture. It's a taste of New York, a small, delicious piece of the city's identity, a reminder of the diverse and dynamic culture that makes this city so unique. The story of Nuts for Nuts is the story of one man, Alejandro Rad. Rad came to New York City from Argentina in the early 1990s. He was a young man with a dream. He wanted to make a better life for himself. Rad started out selling candied peanuts from a pushcart. It was a tough business. The hours were long, the work was hard, but Rad was determined to succeed. He knew he had a good product. People loved his honey-roasted nuts. He just needed to find a way to reach more customers. Rad started to expand his business. He got more pushcarts, he hired more vendors. He eventually changed the name of his business to Nuts for Nuts. Soon, Nuts for Nuts carts were on every corner in Midtown. Rad's nuts were a hit. People couldn't get enough of them. Tourists loved them. Locals loved them. Even celebrities were spotted snacking on Nuts for Nuts. Rad was living the American dream. He had come to a new country and built a successful business. But his journey was far from over. He would soon face new challenges. In the 1990s, New York City cracked down on street vendors. The bustling streets, once filled with the aroma of diverse cuisines, faced a significant transformation. Mayor Rudy Giuliani introduced new rules and regulations. These changes were part of a broader effort to clean up the city and reduce crime, but they had a profound impact on the street vending community. It became harder to operate a pushcart business. Vendors who had been serving the community for years suddenly found themselves struggling to comply with the new regulations. One of the biggest challenges was the one permit per person rule. This rule was intended to prevent monopolies and ensure fair competition, but it had unintended consequences. This rule meant that a vendor could only have one permit. For many, this was a significant hurdle as it limited their ability to grow their business. They could not have multiple permits under different names. This restriction was strictly enforced, with authorities conducting regular checks to ensure compliance. This made it difficult to expand a business. Vendors who dreamed of owning multiple carts or expanding their offerings found their ambitions stifled. The new rules also made it harder to pass down a business. Family-run operations, which had been a staple of the street vending scene, faced new challenges. Vendors could no longer simply hand over their permit to a family member. This tradition, which had allowed businesses to stay within families for generations, was disrupted. They had to go through a lengthy and expensive process. The bureaucratic hurdles were daunting, requiring extensive paperwork and significant financial resources. The street vendor community came together to support each other. Meetings were held to discuss the new regulations and share strategies for compliance. Protests and rallies were organized to voice their concerns. Vendors took to the streets, not just to sell their goods, but to fight for their right to do so. Despite the challenges, some vendors found ways to thrive. Through resilience and innovation, they adapted to the new rules and continued to serve their loyal customers. The spirit of the street vendor community remained strong. They supported each other, shared resources, and continued to be an integral part of New York City's vibrant culture. Section 5. Beyond the cart. Rad knew that he needed to find a way to diversify his business. He couldn't rely on push carts alone. He needed to find other ways to sell his nuts. Rad decided to expand into wholesale. He started selling his nuts to stores and restaurants. He also started selling his nuts online. These new ventures were successful. Nuts for Nuts was no longer just a street food. It was becoming a household name. Section 6. The online world. The internet opened up a whole new world for Nuts for Nuts. People from all over the country could now order their favorite nuts online. Nuts for Nuts started selling gift baskets and other nut-related products online. They also started offering corporate gifting options. The online business was a huge success. It helped Nuts for Nuts to reach a wider audience. It also helped them to generate more revenue. Section 7. The secret recipe. What makes Nuts for Nuts so special? It's all about the recipe. Rad's recipe is a closely guarded secret. The nuts are roasted in small batches. They are coated in a special blend of honey, sugar, and spices. The exact recipe is a secret, but it's what gives Nuts for Nuts their unique flavor. The roasting process is also important. The nuts are roasted to perfection. They are crunchy on the outside and chewy on the inside. Section 8. The price of nuts. The price of nuts has been rising in recent years. This has put pressure on Nuts for Nuts' profit margins. Almonds, cashews, and other nuts have become more expensive to grow. This is due to a number of factors, including drought and increased demand. Nuts for Nuts has tried to absorb these costs as much as possible. They don't want to raise prices for their customers, but they may have to in the future. Section 9. The corn problem. Nuts for Nuts faces competition from other snack foods. One of the biggest competitors is popcorn. Popcorn is a popular snack food. It's also very affordable. This is because the U.S. government subsidizes corn production. These subsidies make it difficult for Nuts for Nuts to compete on price. Popcorn is simply a more affordable snack for many people. Section 10. The taste of New York. Despite these challenges, Nuts for Nuts remains a popular snack food in New York City. People love the taste. They love the smell. They love the nostalgia. Nuts for Nuts is a reminder of the old New York. It's a taste of the city's gritty past. It's a reminder of a time when street vendors were everywhere. Nuts for Nuts is more than just a snack. It's a New York City icon. Section 11. The sweet smell of success. Alejandro Rad's story is an inspiring one. Born and raised in a small town, Alejandro always dreamed of making it big. He had a vision, a dream that one day he would create something that people would love and remember. He came to New York City with nothing but a suitcase and a heart full of hope. The city was vast and intimidating, but Alejandro was determined to carve out a place for himself. He worked tirelessly, taking on multiple jobs to make ends meet. Every morning he would wake up before dawn to set up his cart, and every night he would go to bed exhausted but satisfied. Slowly but surely, he built a successful business from the ground up. Alejandro achieved what many call the American dream. His journey was not easy, but his perseverance and dedication paid off. He became a symbol of hope and success for many immigrants who came to the city with similar dreams. Nuts for Nuts is a testament to Rad's hard work and dedication. What started as a small cart on a busy street corner has now become a beloved brand known throughout the city. It's also a testament to the power of a simple idea. Alejandro believed that if he could offer a product that was both delicious and affordable, people would come. And they did, in droves. Sometimes, all it takes is a good product and a lot of hard work to succeed. Alejandro's honey-roasted nuts became a hit because he put his heart and soul into every batch. He knew that quality mattered, and he never compromised on it. The next time you're in New York City, be sure to pick up a bag of nuts for nuts. You won't regret it. Each bite is a reminder of Alejandro's journey, his struggles, and his triumphs. And when you do, remember the story of Alejandro Rad, the man who brought the sweet smell of honey-roasted nuts to the streets of New York. His story is a reminder that with passion, perseverance, and a little bit of sweetness, anything is possible.